Hey guys, you're welcome to my YouTube channel, and I've dedicated my time for us to go through the CELPIP test. Yes, the CELPIP test. Today we are going to look at the writing task. So with the writing task, it is divided into two. We have writing an email, that is task one, and then task two, responding to a survey. I want us to look at four key steps that goes into the writing process. That is writing the email and then two, responding to the survey question. So I have this short video for us to watch, and then I will explain how these four steps can help us in writing our CELPIP test with the writing task. And then after watching this video, I know that you will get a proper understanding of the writing process. So stay tuned as we watch together the writing process, which involves task one and then task two.
The first is writing an email, and the second is responding to survey questions. There are important differences between these two tasks, but there are four key steps you should follow in both of them in order to write clear, well-organized responses. I'm going to list the four steps here, and then I'll give you some details about each one. Number 1, brainstorming. Number 2, making an outline. Number 3, writing. Number 4, checking your work. In this video, I'm going to
So these are the four steps. One is brainstorming. Two is making an outline. Three is writing your what you're supposed to write about. Four is checking your work. So with these two tasks, one you have 27 minutes, the other task you have 26 minutes. So 27 minutes and then 26 minutes. So within the 27 minutes, you have to do these all these four steps. So one, you brainstorm and then find ideas about what you're supposed to write about. The second one is you make an outline. You jot down some points on a paper because on the day of the test, you'll be given a pen and a paper. So you can write down, you can list some points that you're supposed to write about. Then third one is you begin your writing. That is where paragraphs and then sentences are considered. Then the fourth one is checking your work, checking spelling mistakes, checking punctuation marks, checking the number of words that you used. So with the number of words, you're supposed to write between 150 to 200 words. You're not supposed to write less than 150 words, then you're not supposed to write more than 200 words. If you write less than 150 words or you write more than 200 words, you stand a chance of losing some marks. So it is advisable to write between 150 to 200 words. 150 to 200 words. So these four steps or these four key steps will help you in writing, in passing your writing process or in passing your writing task. So let's move on and then watch the video so we can listen to some explanation to these four steps.
briefly discuss each of these steps, and then, in the next few videos, we are going to look at them in much more detail, them to examples of task 1 and task 2 of the writing test. The first step is brainstorming. This really just means writing down any ideas you have. It doesn't matter if these ideas are good or bad. You just want to get something down on paper to get started. This is especially useful if you're having trouble coming up with good ideas. Writing down whatever comes to mind can help stimulate your imagination and get over a case of writer's block. Once you have some ideas written down, you can move on to the next step, which is making an outline. Here you will select your best ideas and plan the overall organization of your response. This step will really help make it easier for the raters to follow the flow of your ideas. At this stage, you want to get a sense of what your main ideas will be, the order of these ideas, and how you will connect them. When test takers do not make an outline before they start writing, they run the risk of repeating ideas that they have already discussed, presenting ideas in a confusing order, or just leaving things out. Writing without first making an outline can also make the writing process much more stressful, as you are never quite sure what your next ideas will be. A good outline is like a map of your writing. It will keep you on track and identify the main points that you want to include along the way. You have about 30 minutes to complete each task, so you could give yourself about 3 to 4 minutes to do some brainstorming and make an outline. Watch the timer to make sure you don't spend too much time on these steps. Once you have completed your outline, you will be ready to start writing, which will be a process of turning your notes into sentences and paragraphs. In the next few videos, we will talk more about sentence and paragraph structure as they apply specifically to Task 1 and Task 2 of the writing test. We'll also get into even more details about sentence structure in a video dedicated to that very topic. We have a great title for this video. It's called Sentence Structure. It is worth mentioning a few important general guidelines of paragraph formation that are relevant for both Task 1 and Task 2 on the writing test. In terms of the length of your paragraphs, try to have at least 3 sentences in each one. Some test takers make the mistake of presenting their work in a series of 1 and 2 sentence paragraphs. This doesn't really help with the overall organization of a response. A paragraph should contain a topic sentence, some supporting details, and a concluding sentence. Another thing to remember is to make the division between paragraphs very clear. There should either be a space between paragraphs or the first line should be indented with 5 spaces. Okay, let's talk about the final step in the writing process, checking your work. It's natural for all of us to make a few accidental errors in our writing, especially when feeling a bit stressed during a test. If you give yourself a few minutes to check your work, you may catch mistakes related to things like spelling, punctuation, and grammar. Remember that there is a spell check function on the writing test. So if you see a red line underneath any of your words, be sure to right-click your mouse to select from a list of correctly spelled words. However, keep in mind that this feature will not prevent you from using words incorrectly. Spell check would not, for example, pick up the mistakes in this sentence. They're the ones who will help us get there. The correct version of this sentence should look like this. Spell check can only verify whether the words you write match its database of correctly spelled words. It cannot let you know if you are using a particular word in the right context. Let's take a moment and see if you can identify the mistakes in the following sentence, none of which would be detected by a computer's spell check function. There are 5 errors here. Did you catch them all? Here's the corrected version. We'll practice checking for errors in the next few videos, and we'll also talk more about this step in the video Checking Your Work. Okay, so that was an overview of the 4 essential parts of the writing process.
Okay, so we've come to the end of the whole overview of the writing process. So as I said earlier on, you have brainstorming, you have making an outline, you start your writing, and then you check your work. So brainstorming, making an outline, writing, and then checking your work has been explained. They have been explained. So in subsequent videos, we're going to take them one after the other. So when we talk about brainstorming, what do we mean? What entails in brainstorming? When we take making an outline, what do we mean about that? When we talk about writing, what entails in writing? Then when we talk about checking your work, what entails in checking your work? So in subsequent videos, I'll be talking about all these four key steps, all these 4 key steps. And then I think after explaining or after going through these, you have a better score. So don't worry about people talking about CELPIP being harder or being easier. It will be harder for you if you not practice or if you not practice enough. That is when it will be hard for you. But if you want it to be much easier for you, you should be practicing more. You should be practicing more. After watching CELPIP videos, make time for yourself, take some practice tests, and then score yourself. And I think after going through some practice tests, you'll be okay with these writing processes. I think this video was very beneficial to you. I urge you to keep on practicing, because there is a saying that practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. So if you want to be perfect, you should be practicing more. So practicing more on CELPIP, either writing, either listening, either speaking, either reading, is going to be a very good one. It's going to be a very good one. Thank you for joining and then watching this video.